We will call this special board meeting to order. I am going to ask Andrea Fick if she would do roll call. Mrs. Gould isn't able to be with us this evening.
Carrie Germain.
Present.
Alyssa Bouchard.
Here.
Autumn Henry.
Here.
Chuck Milkey.
Present.
Andrea Fick. Here. Kim Winter.
Here.
Ken Engel.
Present.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrea. And you will also be doing the notes for this evening. Thank you for offering to do that. Now I would ask that you join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. As I mentioned, this is a special board meeting. We have one item on the agenda, and that is to discuss as a board the Moorish sale proposal. We are not here to talk about the mega site, whether it has merit, whether it will occur. It is so that we can entertain the proposal in front of us. We are not making a decision this evening, and later in the meeting, there will be an opportunity for public comment if anybody is here for that. So I am going to ask Mr. Kitchen if he would kick us off.
All right. Several board members had asked for an opportunity to talk about the proposal. What you have in front of you here is the proposal from FGIA and a couple of notes that are in here also. And so I'm not sure how you want to start the conversation, but obviously it's $40 million for the sale of Moorish. And any questions that we can answer tonight, we'll do our best to do that. I'm going to take notes if there's questions that I need to get from the proposal team. All right, so with that, I'd like to open it up for your conversation.
Jim, Carrie, why aren't we having anybody talk from the public first to hear what some of their concerns are before we start and not doing it at the end? I don't even know if anybody wants to talk.
Because I asked Jim to put it at the end of this meeting because we only had one item on the agenda.
Okay.
So if anybody would like to kick it off, they're welcome to do that. Jim, if you wanted to continue.
I think basically as you look through this, because I think you all have seen this, what questions do you have? Where can we start? How would you like to proceed here?
Jim, I could offer to start with the new piece of information that I added in the packet that I just delivered. So you may recall that I had mentioned, I'm going to say it was either in the finance and operations meeting last or the last board meeting, I had mentioned that there had to be a calculation conducted by PFM and our bond counsel to determine what, if any, payback to debt retirement if we sold Moorish, which contained infrastructure that was funded by an outstanding bond. This package is that response. So just to introduce that and share the additional cost that we are responsible for. If we sell Moorish, we have an obligation to pay, and it's in the third paragraph, $2,510,356 needs to be put into debt retirement. So as I had said at the last meeting when we talked about this, that should be an added ask to the sell price.
Jamie, can we just clarify, that doesn't matter what if we countered them and said we want 50 million, that dollar amount stays the same?
Correct.
Thank you.
I'd like to start by saying, Jim, we get told by MASB that we have one employee. You agree with that statement?
Yes.
So I'd like to start hearing from you. You are our employee. If I'm not going to be able to reprimand whoever, whether it's two sitting at the table or someone else, then we need to start hearing just from you. Okay?
When you say hearing from me, are you talking about my recommendation in this situation, or?
This information right here.
Yeah.
I should hear it from you. You're the superintendent.
Absolutely.
Okay. So moving forward, when we direct questions, I'd like you to be the one to answer the questions.
Yeah.
And if you need to take time out and go talk to Dave or someone else, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from, I would like to hear from you.
Yeah. And my goal is, as you saw with the town hall, I was on the stage, I want to give you the right answer. I want to be transparent with you. When it comes to financials, Jamie's going to be our best person. So if we need to pause and I go talk to Jamie, however, but I will want to be transparent and give you the information.
I kind of have something to that goes along with that. You had this proposal before the town hall meeting, yet the way he described it to the public or the community during that meeting, it was that we were going to get a $40 million check, not that it was going to be broken up and distributed over time. And like I said, you had that agreement, so full transparency would have been like, well, that's not what you had in our, the proposal. So,
Yes, so the first time that he said 39 million was at that meeting. And then a conversation that he said 39 million up front. It had always been 20, 10, 5, 5. But it was a proposal that we received that it did not have memorized.
right, and that's what we had in our hand at that time, right? So as far as we were concerned, that's the only legitimate
yes.
proposal. So I guess, if you wanted full transparency, you would have disclosed what was in the proposal that we had a copy of.
The board had that, and it is a proposal that he was presenting. It's not my proposal. And so what he has said since then is that he absolutely can do the 39 million with 1 million. But here's the problem that I see with this. We keep going back to the what ifs and who knew what when and all of this. I've been here for a month. I have not had a time to create a conspiracy. You have a proposal before you, and I strongly encourage you to consider the proposal and tell me which direction you'd like me to go.
Yeah, I don't think that this proposal is good enough. I'm going to start by saying that, I guess.
Anyone else have comments on the proposal specifically?
Not the proposal. After speaking with Andre the other day, is how we got here tonight. And not that I have good ideas or bad ideas, but I just have an idea. And I don't mean when I say do-over completely start this process over, but I do think we need a do-over button. We need to look and see if there's different properties that better suit us for building a new building. For instance, where we're at right now, there's no sewer. The other night at the Gaines Township meeting, Mr. Melky brought this up. Oh, well, we're going to pay for your sewer. Not in the agreement. What about the roads?
I'm not going to pay for it. I asked if they were going to pay for it. Yeah, no. Yeah,
You're not going to pay for it, Joe?
Yeah, no, I don't have that kind of money. But yeah, I did ask that Ken on Ken's behalf because
Yes.
that was not in our proposal.
Another question was the roads,
Sewer.
correct, Chuck?
Yeah, I was concerned that we're going to have $3 to $4 million in infrastructure that would come back onto the school.
So after hearing that, I would like to back this process up and go, okay, is there a different piece of property that is better suited for the district? Maybe it's property we own, maybe it's probably don't. Second thing, I would like to see the negotiations start over and we actually give our superintendent the authority to do so in reference to selling the building. That was never granted by this board before to any place in the minutes I can find. If it is, correct me. And then the second would be to start the process of what if a new building should look like or additions on the current buildings. I'm gonna come back to that, but I don't know what is the best idea, but let's talk about that. We've got 3 topics: selling, new / additions, and property or location, whatever you want to call it. And there could be more. Them were just the ones that hit me in the face after talking to you and Dave and Jamie the other day. And so I would like to see this process started over because I do think we are going to we already know we're going to run into hidden costs that aren't here. There's no sewage. So obviously $40 million isn't getting it. I don't know if it's 45, I don't know if it's 50. I don't know. I'm not a construction guy, just a cop. However, these are the little things that I'm catching. I would like someone that is much smarter than me in developing buildings and all this kind of stuff to look at this. I don't know if it's you, lawyers, collectively the 7 of us. That's what I'm looking for an answer tonight. That's my goal in this meeting. And now I'll hush.
I also have a comment. I'm not happy with the site that we were thinking of buying either, because it's not that far away from the school where it is. And at the very least, I think they should be giving us 45 million, if not a few million more. I mean, I just don't think that's enough. I think there's going to be costs that we're not going to be able to cover with that.
And Kimmy bring up a great point of it being too close if we build a new building. And that's part of what we need to get past is, are we gonna sell or are we not? Because we either have a choice to be built around and then it's in our backyard, or we sell and we build a new building, we add on to the current buildings, whatever it might be, but we need to make that decision about selling or not, or being built around, right? Because to say a new location's too close means we don't want it in our backyard. So I think we as a group need to first decide if we want to sell, then we can start looking at the negotiations.
Well, I also think that we're saying if we want it in our backyard, we don't even know that somebody's going in there. Like, they've had buyers back out already. So that's assuming that they do sell to a mega site or, manufacturing industry. Like, I just don't like making decisions based on assumptions, and I would like to see them have a buyer secured before we make any decision to, think about uprooting a whole entire elementary school and their families.
We don't have the luxury of waiting until someone does or doesn't do anything with that property. We have deadlines that we've been given. They may have some negotiation leeway, but we have to look at what's before us. If we do need to go back and negotiate again, what should we be considering? I put together a list just off the top of my head and based on some information that I had, some conversations that have been going on amongst this board and the proposals, things that we need to consider.
Again,
Sure,
you
it's
say,
not all-
you say timeline, yet we're the seller here. It's on our time. Like, we get to establish that timeline. That's how it works. Somebody doesn't say, I want to buy your house, you have 2 weeks to make a decision.
The grant dollars are only available, the grant dollars are only available for a certain period of time, and that is outside of our control at this point.
That's not our
We may-
problem, though.
But actually, the seller does. The seller writes a contract and says, I'll buy your property, but I need an answer by this date and I want to close by this date. It actually is them. It's up to us if we want to agree to their terms.
Right, but if I don't want to sell my house, I'm not going to consider,
don't have
and if I don't want to, if
Right.
I don't like what they're saying, then they're going to accept, depending on the demand for that property, they're going to adjust their timeline.
Maybe, maybe not, but they are the ones that put a timeline out there.
That's another assumption that we're going to have to take, we're going to assume that the factory's going in. Why can't we assume that they'll push back the timeline?
So kind of like we could assume they're going to rebuild all the houses? And they're literally tearing down houses every day.
Okay.
I mean, something's
I've
coming.
never heard of new construction, but.
So who their buyer is, I mean, we're taking the risk of potentially not selling. They don't have to buy us. They don't have to buy individual houses out there, and they can still build their factory. Us not selling isn't going to stop the factory, unfortunately.
Well, this says that they're projecting that the whole site will be available, and that's including our property. This is,
Well,
Which is even more reason for us to look at proactively the length of time it would take to build a building or place our students in other
well,
locations.
I'm just saying I wouldn't like to do it until they have a buyer secured.
I don't think we have the luxury of that time.
Well. Right.
yep, yep.
Well, then they need to get on their horse and find a buyer. Like, that's not
I,
my job to do.
okay. May I have the floor, Madam President?
Yes.
I have 4 or 5 issues. I'm not going to blame the blame on anybody, okay? You guys want to start fresh, okay? And I'm not saying anybody broke anything, but I pulled every set of minutes and agenda items since 2023. We never gave anybody permission to go into negotiations to sell our building So if we do sell, it's illegal, and I know I use that word a lot, and you guys get pissy with me, but I was also a policeman for 40 years, and a township official still am. So the board has never, unless somebody did it individually here, gave permission to even negotiate this $40 million. So we have to back up a little bit, and we're going to have to give Jim permission to negotiate that. And I think Ken's feeling is, if I'm reading you right down there, Ken, you would like a couple of teams, one for buying, one for selling. Is that what you're saying? Right, seven heads are better than one, you're right. And I don't have a problem with that, but the first issue is we're going to have to give permission to Mr. Kitchen and a couple other designees to negotiate. I went through the minutes, I brought them all here. And I went through the memos because somebody said, oh, they're on your memos, Chuck. So I went through every memo for the last 3 years because Tyler, that Tyler Householder, whatever his name is, whatever, I don't know, I can't remember everything, but Tyler, I remember his first name. Mr. Tyler said that he was in negotiations or was talking to not Jim, but Rod in 2023. And I feel like this was sprung on me. And I have 4 memos that started only in December. I'm sorry, I misspoke myself, October. And they're board memos, which means they go out in a memo form to thousands of people, and we may or may not see them as board members. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see 2 of them. And then there's one that went out to the parents. It didn't even go out to the board members. These are all here that I'm presenting as evidence. So this board has been in the dark, and then there was some young lady that came here in May, the township supervisor from Monday Township, correct? Anybody recall that? Yeah, her name was Jennifer. You weren't here, maybe? Yeah,
A well, lot of people come.
Well, okay, she talked and said there was an offer, and that was the first time I heard about an offer. And I about got floored, and I looked, and then I got these memos saying, we've informed you, sending me 3 memos over the course of 2 years, and a board, not even to the board member. That should have came to me saying, hey, we're negotiating, we're doing A, B, C, and D. Pretty important stuff, don't you agree? Instead of just sending a memo out. And then they said one memo was sent out, that wasn't even sent out to the board, it was sent out to 4,000 parents. So we don't even know what's going on here. And we're getting this shoved down our throat. Here's a shiny quarter, you better take it for the kids or else. I don't mind taking the quarter, but I want to make sure it's a quarter and not a nickel. So first thing we do is we give Jim authority to do it. And if you say we can't do that, our board policies I've pulled out and says we have to guideline and have parameters on what we give the superintendent to buy or sell if it's over $28,000 unless it's an emergency. And I don't remember any emergency being declared until May when, I can't remember her name, what's her last name? Staten. Jennifer Staten, she was the Monday Township supervisor, came here and blew me right out of my chair saying you have an offer. And then I get this diagram saying that, and then he shows up, Mr. Tyler Householder, and says that we don't need your property, take the $40 million or not, but I have a document here saying that for the new business to come in, they have to have the entire property. So there's a skunk in the woodpile here, and I'm not going to be part of it till we start the way we should have done it to begin with. And some people went out on their own and negotiated this, and we're going to do it by our policies and our procedures. And I don't see any other way the board can get around that. And that's where we need to start.
So Chuck, if we're going to,
Isn't it?
if we're
But
going to,
we can speed the process up, Terry. I'm not trying to hold it up. I'm just saying to cover CYA us, to be good stewards of the district's money, to be good stewards of our kids, our parents, our future. How do we do things wrong and we expect everybody else to do things right and follow the rules? I'm a rule follower, and I probably broke rules. I've even self-reported myself when I do break a rule.
so Chuck, if the suggestion is that we delegate the negotiation to Jim.
And a couple other
with
people.
some folks.
Yep.
Then we have the advantage of having a template before us.
Correct.
Whether we
That's-
use that or not right now,
I'm
I think
okay
in
with that.
all fairness, we have to decide what we would like in terms of a proposal and that they would then agree to. And we can either go through the proposal that we have or the summary of the terms of the proposal. I think it's been stated a couple times that it would be to our benefit as a district given some of the unknowns and costs, that we look at some of the areas where we would incur costs that may not be represented in the current offer.
Which I've already brought up to you. That's, yeah,
I
that,
don't think anybody disagrees with that.
yeah, I feel like I'm being rushed. I feel like I was not told things personally, and maybe some of the other board members feel the same way. I don't know. I'm speaking for Chuck Melkey. And all of a sudden, here's 40 million, take this shiny quarter, and we really don't need your property. And I want to be good stewards to my neighbors there. I kind of want to know what's going on, but at the end of the day, we don't have a choice on that because so many people have sold that if everybody's really concerned about it, then they should have withheld. But I just want to start the process, and we already have some pieces in, Carrie. We can say, okay, we'll give Jim, and if somebody wants to be on the selling program, Alyssa and Ken, and maybe, me and looking at the construction part of it. I mean, I've been in charge of building and operations for 7 years. I have a little bit, and I've built several buildings. They weren't done right correctly because you let a cop do it. I should have hired some heating and cooling guys. But anyways, regardless, no, enough of that. But I just want to make sure that if we're going to look at the template, let's just back up a little bit and follow our rules. And I've done enough digging that we didn't follow our rules, and that's not a bad thing. It's just somebody made a mistake, and I'm not going to blame anybody that's not here that can't defend themselves. So at the end of the day, I want us to be prim and proper, follow the rules. Let's go ahead, make Jim in charge to begin with, and then build some subcommittees real quick, and we can use the template, Carrie, and we can look at the other things that are happening and just figure this out. And I know this is a sore spot. No, it's not a sore spot. School of choice. How do we know that we continue school of choice next year and we don't lose 5 to 100 to 1,000 students and we don't need all these buildings? That's something else that we have to look at. I polled the community. Everybody I've talked to, which is several hundred, 99% aren't really for it. So I don't know if we need as big a school as what was proposed. I don't even know how it got to the architect and to all these people. And if we were going to take this guy's proposal, it says right in here, we have to bid it out. So the seller is telling us we're gonna turn around and refund his money, the 40 million right back, to have his builder build it. We should, and right in our policies, it says we have to put it out for bid. And I actually don't mind Dave Lurvey. He's doing a pretty good job on the baseball field. Some people may not think so. Some people do. I think he's doing a pretty good job. He can be one of the bidders, and they did kind of an informal bid process. From what Tyler told us the other day, he said, well, we had 3 builders look at it. AUK, help me out. E&L? Is that it? I mean, help me out, guys, board members. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what they did. That's them talking. I want to open up the bids and see what they were. It may be 33 million, and I can take 7 million and put it into Deke and Elms and Cyrene and put peak roofs in and do a couple other things for long-term goals. So let's start out with the first process. Let's give the permission, board parameters.
And Chuck, that's exactly why we're here tonight. With the last meeting, I said we need a special meeting about Moorish because we as a board need to talk about it. So when Ken and I were talking about it the other day, I mentioned to him and he's same thing. So thank you, Ken, for tapping in to have a second person call a special meeting so that this isn't part of our regular board meeting, right? Like,
This is good. Well, this would have been
we need
discussed
this
Wednesday.
opportunity.
This needs to be a one subject item. You're correct.
Right, because it's gonna take a minute, so, and I might not be here Wednesday, so.
Gonna take notes?
College movement day.
Okay.
Sue, no, Sue won't be here either. Cindy's taking notes on
Okay.
Wednesday.
Well, Madam President, I don't know if you want to entertain a motion or do something to start that ball. And like I said, I think we should keep all the templates. I know there may be some time constraints because Mr. Tyler, help me out, Mossholder? Rossholder, okay. He's going to be upset that I didn't do his name right, but
Are you motioning
that,
that we give it to Jim?
well, no, there was just one other thing. I lost my train of thought. He said that there was some type of time frame with the money to back up what Carrie's saying. I think everybody has a little piece of the information, but we got to start out and do that. I think he said August 20 of 28 is the money had to be spent. I'm not positive on that, but from my memory, or somewhere in that time frame.
I think that is when
Thank
he
you.
was giving us the building, was the tentative timeline in here was the.
Jim, are you okay with this?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, June.
What about the rest of the board? We have discussion before I make a motion.
I would second your motion.
Are
if
you
make
saying
it.
scrap it?
We're gonna scrap this. I mean, Carrie's got a legitimate point. If, just about just using some of the rough draft, you're not gonna throw out the entire contract. You're gonna look at it, but we're gonna look at it from several different views now, and we're gonna have board parameters on what people can and cannot do.
We
We're not
can't
even saying we're selling
hire
it.
a lawyer to do it?
Would you like that in a motion, a real estate attorney? I'm good. with
I don't
that.
think it
That
would
sounds-
hurt.
I think that's a great idea,
I
Autumn.
don't think,
Hiring an attorney may come after the fact, but it's up to us to decide what we want eventually to give Jim his marching orders and whatever team is chosen to have those conversations. Don't you agree?
Yes, I have
Okay.
no issue with
Our
that.
school attorneys will look this over.
so we're gonna set parameters as to what he can and can't discuss? So,
No, what we're suggesting is we go through the current proposal.
Yeah.
Considering the timelines that have been proposed, which may be negotiable, we don't know. Also, the dollar amount that's been proposed to us and the timeframes that's been given us, and consider some of the other factors that would add additional expenses to the sale and future construction and moving elementary buildings.
Well,
and
I
it's
don't- I
not to
don't
be
know if I said
assumed
that.
that we're gonna develop on the property that they proposed, right? We're scrapping that part.
I mean, we could agree to not build a new building at all. I mean, that's very much an option.
I think that's the next topic, Autumn.
Okay, sorry.
But no, you're not. Because that was another question I had when we were talking about the property is, who decided that we needed 30 or 33 acres to build a school when you've got Elms that sits on 9? And then what are we paying for an acre? And they're keeping the other 67 to build houses. Again, it's not right or wrong, it's just there is entirely too many unanswered questions. When you ask a question, how much are we paying for an acre and why do we need 30 acres? I don't know. Well, I don't know is not a good answer. It's kind of a scary answer. So go with your motion, Chuck, or whoever's going to.
Well, the first motion is that we give Jim parameters to officially negotiate and have several board members to be picked to sit in on these. And if the attorney needs to come, then we'll deal with that. How's that for a motion?
I second.
So I make, yes, okay, I'll clear it up. You want me to clear it up? I make a motion that we give Jim the parameters to start negotiations with, what's the name of the group? His official name?
The Troon, you're talking about?
No.
MEDC.
The
Genesee County Economic Alliance, I don't want to say it wrong. Is that what it's
Maple and Hill-
called?
Maple and
The
Hill
audience
LLC.
can help me.
Maple and Hill LLC. Maple and Hill.
Okay, Maple and Hill LLC.
Per the purchase agreement, it's Maple and Hill LLC.
For the sale, only the sale, potentially, of Moorish Elementary. And I also nominate in there myself. And somebody want to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Listen, Carrie.
Alyssa and Carrie on that committee.
And could you read the last part, Chuck, purchase of?
The potential, let me
Potential.
rephrase that. The potential purchase of Moorish Elementary.
So you said sale of Moorish Elementary and, was there a second part?
Well, no, just to be able to negotiate the potential
Yeah.
purchase of Moorish Elementary, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Is that, Ken, is that what you were thinking? Is that what you were thinking?
Just say the word sales and purchase.
Yes, sale. Thank you.
All right, do I have
All
a
that
second?
has to be done in
Andrea?
public, right?
Andrea?
Yes.
I hear you say
All the
yes.
Yes,
sale.
the second.
So can we negotiate outside of open meeting? I'm asking, I don't know.
You have to stay under a quorum,
Right.
which the three would be,
That wouldn't be a quorum.
Right.
Yeah, we need,
you'd have to cap it at 3.
yes.
Yeah, so Chuck, Alyssa, and Carrie.
But other members could show up,
Well, that would
could
make
they,
it a
and
quorum.
sit in the audience, or no?
Then it wouldn't be.
It's,
Then that would make it a quorum.
Only if it would be considered like one of our committee meetings, for example. one that has an agenda and it's been advertised. That would be the only way.
Actually, years ago, and I think Carrie can support me on this one, not support, agree with me on this one. We had a committee, was it financial or personnel, Carrie, that had 4 members on it? We just can't make a decision.
Well, you can do that if it's open meeting. Those meetings
Right,
are.
yes, correct.
That's why we do a committee of the whole, so that all board members can, or we, sometimes there's only one of us in
Right.
one of those meetings.
Agreed.
But we don't exceed the maximum by doing committee of the
I
whole.
don't have a problem with that, Aisha.
And then we bring the information back to the entire board, Ken, and I guess we
The
can.
board makes the decision
The board makes a
together.
decision, of course, but we can chew on whatever information we have. Okay, so that's my motion. Let's vote on it.
All right,
I did the second.
Yeah, you seconded it, correct.
all right, so we have the motion on the table. Any comments or questions?
More discussion.
I have a comment. I haven't spoken a lot about this.
You've been
so
quiet.
I have been quiet. 'Cause I'm taking it all in and hearing what everyone has to say. So while doing like my own research on this, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like it's brand new. It's called a design build school. So House Bill 4603 came into law July of 2024. I reached out to a couple of construction professionals regarding this that works in K-12 and education, and they don't know of any other schools that are doing this design build. I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention if you didn't know about it. I don't know if we want to be that test.
So when you mean about the test, you mean the architectural plans that were drawn up?
So with design build, so what that is they amended the School Building Construction Act to add the option to use a design build construction delivery method for school construction projects. So what that means is that they're using this to speed up the projects in theory. So that's why the school can be built so quickly.
It actually models what we're doing at Mary Crapo.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
That's
for
at
school.
risk.
I understand the concept, Alyssa.
Okay.
I mean, what you're saying, somebody's building it's a factory. Somebody's building a model plan, and we want you to use this model, and we can guarantee it's built quicker. I don't know what the quality will be like. I mean, this guy, there's not even a tornado shelter in here.
No.
No, so we have tornado shelters right now. I don't know why I would put my kid in a metal building with no tornado shelter.
Again, why we could take the money and put it into our current buildings.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to build a new building.
That was my suggestion months ago if that happened. So let's vote on it, Carrie. I think we're good.
I will ask Andrea to do roll call, please.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Andrea Fick, yes. Chuck Milky,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
I go no.
Alyssa Bouchard,
Yes.
You can come back to it.
Jerry Germain,
Yes.
6 yes.
1 no.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very, very much. All right.
Yeah, I got one question. Kim, how come you haven't said nothing?
She did.
You did?
Well, I did. I don't think we're getting enough money for this.
You said 45 million. That's what I heard, but yeah.
Well, I said 45, if not a few million more.
Okay, great, thank you.
So
I like
that's,
your idea though, Kim.
Please, that says please decide to sell.
I like that idea you had at one of the other meetings too, about wait till they have a buyer, then figure it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you know, should we sell this building if there's not even a buyer there? But yet I'm torn because I don't want to miss the opportunity and then have some factory or something come in there. I'm not sure, this is just my own opinion, but I'm not sure a toxic factory is going to want to go in there next to a school because of the liability. So I'm just wondering what's going to go in there,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I would agree.
I am torn. I guess I needed this meeting tonight also.
Well, we don't have to sell it, because I'm not really a proponent to sell it. But we need to start out from the beginning and follow our rules and sit down with those people and see what they're willing to give us, what, carrots they want to dangle, and then we still have to make a decision on the other factors. Is somebody moving in? I think this will all kind of take care of it, and it'll slow the process down, because I feel like we're being rushed to, just take the money and run, and I'm not willing to do that.
I felt,
And I kind of feel like you on that, who knows? I don't think any place would build there, because like you said, they'd be like, geez, if we build next to school and something happens, we're gonna be in big trouble. But on the other hand, you can always look at the flip side of the coin, why didn't we move to school, you know what I mean? So we have to be careful, and that's why we have to be very delicate with this and move into it slowly. So we
I
got the
think
first part
it
down,
would
we got a parameter now that our superintendent has, we have a committee.
Correct. And
Next.
so I would propose that we go through what is currently being offered and to further refine what we are giving Jim in terms of our parameters with some room.
Can I go, Carrie?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so I did some more research as well. So for a 65,000 square foot building, where I noticed in the French documents, it said 100,000 square foot. I don't know if they were including parking or what they're including there. But the average build rate is about $370 per square foot. So that's an industry standard rate. That doesn't include a 2% markup or anything like that. So if you include the tech infrastructure, safety and security, instructional tech equipment, furniture, furnishings, equipment, your site work, which is your paving, your parking lot, sidewalks, site improvements, roofing, all the above, we're way over 40 million. So with the individuals that I have reached out to, and with my own research, I believe that we ask for 55 million, because that's going to give us a 15% contingency, which would be a buffer, which would be like your hidden condition. So if something happens, we don't have to go back and ask for more money. But that's what I believe.
How many square foot building is that, Alyssa, that you just quoted us?
65,000.
Okay, thank you.
And Jamie, that tracks, right, with what we were looking at?
Compared to what? I mean, obviously.
No, I'm sorry, 65,000, just to confirm
Oh,
that was the
65,000
size.
was the program that the 40 million was predicated on, yes, as far as the square footage.
and this building is, that you checked on?
The building that I checked on was 65,000 square feet, and so it was $370 per square foot, but that was the industry standard rate. That it didn't include a markup. Tara.
Can I ask one more question? Is that brick or steel? Did you check that?
I believe it was brick, actually.
Okay, I think we got quoted steel and stone. I'm not sure, though. Okay, so we probably should have another committee that looks at the building part of it, that's coinciding with this.
Yeah, I've got three, Chuck.
Oh, okay, go, I'm sorry, yeah, because I want another committee now.
New build and sale, three
Yeah.
groups.
Okay, what was it, I'm sorry?
Right now, the sale of the one,
Yep,
possibly a different location, AKA property,
yep,
and then the new building, which that's what she's speaking of.
yeah.
But I think what she's bringing this up for is, if we're selling it, we got to get a much higher number. I think that's her point, and I'm not speaking for you.
Thank you. No, you're correct, yes. If we're gonna sell it, we need to ask, we have to counter. We need more than 40 million,
For sure.
Way more.
way more.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the first offer. Why should we just say, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay, I make a motion, can I make a motion, Carrie?
you're gonna make another one.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we set up another committee for buying and research, at least to give us some idea, because I don't feel comfortable going there trying to sell a building and not knowing what I'm going to buy. So I got to think, okay, so we need a committee now to set up, and I'd like to be on that one too, buying a building, construction of a building, and somehow get some quotes, because it does us no good to sell it if we don't know what it costs to buy it.
Yeah, so where do you
So
start?
where do we start? So now, I feel, is that what you're hitting at, King, is having another committee,
Yes.
a buying committee?
Yeah, I'm talking about a construction committee on
Okay.
a facility.
Yeah, I make a motion that we have a construction buying of a new facility and doing some, research so we know what we're doing.
Well, and I think Alyssa just exposed
Yeah.
that the first one probably wasn't a good number.
No.
Well, it might have been depending on the materials he was using. At the last meeting, I asked him, what kind of materials are we using? Just soft, what kind of fixtures? Is it ceramic floors, wood floors, cement floors, epoxy floors? we didn't have any of those answers, and I was not willing at the building committee to even entertain anything about the price. So I think, yeah, let me clear up my motion, I'm sorry, I messed it up. I make a motion that we have a committee to research the construction and buying of a new building to fit our needs.
I have a question before, are we going to have a committee for property, to search for property too?
I don't know if we need, yeah, I guess we
Or
could.
is that going to be included?
That might be too confusing if we have 3 committees, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
it might be.
Well, that one committee can do both, can't they, Ken, or no?
They can, you can do it any way you want. There's not a wrong way.
Yeah.
I was looking at, if we break ourselves up into groups, we should be able to move faster.
A third
If
committee
you're
would be able
focused, if you're focused on a building.
Yeah.
And someone else is focusing on property and someone else is managing the sale,
Yeah, and we should have some cross members on there. I'm good with that. Okay, so that's my second motion.
I suggest we put you on all 3.
We need a second on this, Carrie.
Yeah, I'll do it because there's got to be a hinge person and there's got to be the critic. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
So Andrea, can you read that motion back if you were
Sorry.
able to get it? And
We have this right.
thanks.
A committee to buy and research new construction on a new building.
Not buy, but to look into buying, and,
The research of.
yeah, the researching of the building, yeah.
Yes, not
Yes.
buying the property.
Yeah, yes, just the building, the
new
construction of the building, yeah. So that's my original motion, so we'll need a second for it and move on.
Second it.
Thank you. Okay.
Discussion on the motion.
Any comments
still
or
writing.
questions? Hearing none, Andrea, can you do roll call, please?
Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Alyssa Bouchard,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Chuck Milky,
Yes.
Andrea Fick, yes. Kim Winter,
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Okay, I'll let it.
So I would like to make a motion that we have a third, well,
Motion passes. Sorry.
sorry. So that's 7 yeses. Sorry.
So the next motion will be on the property.
So
When are these?
I would like to be on the construction committee.
That's fine,
You too?
yeah. That splits it up.
Third person?
What about you, Autumn?
When are these meeting?
Kim is raising your hand.
We'll figure it out if we can make it when I can. Yeah, if we can do it when I can meet, then that's
Well, let's let
whatever,
out- let's-
whoever.
Okay.
Let's split it up. How about,
I'll do.
Ken
yeah.
said he would do this one too. It
Ken?
doesn't matter.
I'm available for one.
Are they going to be a meeting of the whole, so we all technically could come, we decided, right? Okay, so you have the 3 potential, and then,
But only 3 people can participate on the committee at each time, right?
So we wouldn't be able to speak if we were there just to listen? Is
Unless it's a committee of the whole, and then yes, you can.
That's correct.
that- Okay.
So if we make it a committee of the whole, yes, you can.
yes, there'd be no law violation there.
Yes.
so
Be a
Chuck,
committee of the whole.
Andrea, Ken, and then we still have a third one for the.
I make a motion that we have a committee to look at potential properties within our district for the purpose, if we do go through with this, where to place our new building at strategically, so it's beneficial to the children and parents.
I would ask that we include the currently proposed property, just because,
Oh, no, I'm not against that
Okay,
property, I'm just saying,
okay.
no.
not instead of.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
that
yeah,
would be
no,
important.
no, my motion didn't have that, Carrie,
Okay.
because that might be the property we may have to go with if we go through with the other 2 committees. So let's keep our doors open. So yes, let me
Okay.
repeat my motion. That we have a committee to research the potential purchase of property within our district that would be beneficial for our children and parents, some strategically located somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's a third committee.
Okay. That,
It's got to have a
I'll
second.
second that.
oh,
You're seconding that,
Yes.
Andrea? Any comments or questions on that motion? If you want to read that back, Andrea?
Well, it was said different the second time, so a committee
sorry.
to, that's okay.
Blinded.
A committee to research for property for a potential new building.
Okay. That's correct?
Yeah,
Chuck?
yeah, without the fluff, yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right, any comments or questions again? Hearing none, Andrea, can you do roll call, please?
Carrie Germain,
Yes.
Alyssa Bouchard,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
yes.
Chuck Milky,
Yes.
Andrea Fick, yes. Kim Winter,
Yes.
Ken Engel. Yes. 7 yes.
Okay. Thank you for that.
committee members, Autumn,
For that, yeah,
property?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll be on that way. I'll be the hinge pin to all three of them.
Okay. Kim? You're not on one yet, Kim? Do you want to be on the property one?
Yeah, yeah.
So, first committee, just for recap, I've got Chuck, Alyssa, and Carrie. Second committee, Chuck, Andrea, Ken. Third committee, Autumn, Chuck, Kim. That spreads everybody out.
Okay, and just to be sure, okay, so, but we all, I mean, so if we're looking for property, right, we would need to report that back to the people who are, or to the committee that's selling, or possibly selling Moorish, right? Before, so you guys know how to negotiate that into the deal?
Well,
Or-
may I, Carrie? Or
I don't-
Jim, if you want to do it. I think what's going to happen is that we garner more information, and we're going to do it quickly, because some of this has been done without my knowledge, but we'll get it done, and then we'll have information on the selling. The buying committee will have information on that and the property, and that will give time if somebody's going to actually even build on that property, like Kim said, to make an educated decision on what we're going to do. And I think with everybody's head in it now, 7 heads are better than 1. Well, actually 8 with Jim. And I think it'll be much smoother, and we've done the parameters now according to our bylaws, so we can move forward.
And also just a reminder that when we go into talking about the purchase of property, we should go into closed
That's
session.
closed session, but selling.
Selling is open,
Yep,
yes.
that's fine. Who knows?
So with,
That's what the 3 committees will find out. The buying committee, how big of a building do we really need? The selling committee will be seeing how much money can we really get? And then the property. That property, may I speak, Carrie? I'm sorry. That property was originally bought, and I pushed that through Jim and Rod and Carrie, were all supportive of it. That 9.5 acres was bought to make more lacrosse fields, soccer fields, stuff. And the reason why I pushed it is because it was cheap at the time, and it adjoined our school property. So you always buy a few acres if you can, if it's reasonable. I mean, if something's next to you, and you don't want nobody building next to you, you buy it. So we took it out of our, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our capital improvement budget. Is that correct, Carrie? I don't recall. And we bought that for the kids if we want to increase more athletics for practice fields. So if it happens, it happens, but that wasn't the original intent of that property.
Thank you, Chuck. Anything else before go ahead?
Yeah, I just wanted to include one thing too. I know that the governor has proposed that preschool be a grade now, and I don't know if that's going to go through, but I think that's something that we need to keep in mind. So we have enough classrooms if we have preschool.
yeah.
Thanks.
How many classrooms do we need? Do you know?
I'd have to look.
Jim knows that?
We would have to look at our count overall, but we don't know if it becomes mandatory preschool, we definitely have to do a count, but we don't know what that would look like right now. Right now, just the classrooms that we have are covering our 34 or 50 students, so.
And if it's free, parents will likely take a good look at it.
So we're probably looking at 100 kids at least in each elementary school. Is that what we're rough estimate? Or is that a little high?
Our classes are about 150 to 200 overall, so,
Oh, so you'd split them up between all the elementaries?
yeah.
Okay. So two classrooms in each school would be safe. We'd be more than safe with 5 elementaries, 5 times 2.
3,
Oh, why 3?
because Moorish and our Elms is a 3-5 building. Remember, 2 of our buildings.
Oh, we can't put them in the 3-5 buildings.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could change the configuration of the buildings
Well,
also.
that's probably going to be this is going to be this Wednesday. I'm going to be complaining about that, so.
The way
Take everybody back to K-5 because,
The way this proposal was written, was planning for a K-1, and then all the other buildings would be 2-5. But the configuration could be decided any way that you want.
okay. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Carrie.
Was it K-1 plus pre-K?
Pre-K
Yeah,
through
yeah.
1, yes.
So it'd be pre-K, K, and 1.
Yeah.
That's what their proposal was on that building.
Okay.
And then you make the other 4.
Do,
The other three.
Do we need to make a motion to have an attorney type up our sale agreement versus letting the buyers
Yes.
present it to us? Because I think
Once
I
you
would
make
feel
the-
more comfortable with that.
Once you
Can we
make
do
the
that now?
decision- Yeah.
I think when we get closer,
Yeah.
that would be
Okay.
better, and we can hire a real estate / attorney
Yeah.
that specializes in this. And that way, they will find all the loopholes
Mm-hmm.
where I mean, my dum-dum, I looked at it and see sewers and roads, and I'm like, who's gonna pay for that? So who knows what they'll find?
Right. So we
So
write,
we can do that later, though. I'm
And
thinking, yeah.
just, yeah, okay, all right, I didn't know.
No, that's a good idea. I mean, but I don't think we need to do that right now. We
Okay.
gotta see where we're at on the sale.
So can I have a few minutes just to talk about the list that I put together? And please, don't laugh, because I'm not an expert in this area. I know drugs, and I'm not in a good way, in a legal way.
You got the pharmaceutical award I saw several years back.
Yes, I did. So
okay.
we know what the current offer is. There's a $40 million offer on the table, and we're going to have conversations about that. And it has various parameters and deadlines that have been listed in the current proposal and money that would be in escrow. But let's not talk about that right now. We do know there's costs for design and engineering and everything. So the additional expenses that might answer some of your questions, I don't know the dollars, but there will be a list. We will have to likely do an environmental assessment of the new property. That would only be prudent, right, for us to do that. Property purchase, whether it's, wherever we decided to go. An annual lease or rent for Moorish, that's the one we know in this, would be $100 a week per year. That was the only one that was really known. The utilities that Moorish would have to pay based on their occupation in the building. Property taxes are not the district's responsibility after the end of this year currently, as it's stated. The debt retirement calculation fees were low. Jamie, I think it was $2,000 or so, the legal fees, for them to calculate that $2.5 million that you stated at the.
I think it was $1,500.
Okay,
They're all-
so that was low.
There's additional legal fees that we have not yet been billed, but that was on a
Okay.
hourly basis.
And then there was a debt retirement amount that you stated at the beginning of the meeting of $2.5 million. There's the building maintenance and insurance that currently would be required by, any occupation. Also, the sewer, water, electrical. I didn't put roads in, Chuck, sorry, or Ken, I don't know who mentioned that, but I did get the sewer, water, and electrical hookup included. And then construction cost overruns and contingencies, thank you, Alyssa. Closing fees, which we know are also being paid by the purchaser. The removal of any district belongings from Moorish obviously would be on the district if we sold the building after the occupation period. Any legal fees that we incur, and then other expenses. So I don't know if you have others on your lists of things that we might or think we might have to incur. But as Kim is mentioning, and I think all of us have said, we have to consider those expenses, even if we don't know exactly what they are, and maybe, overestimate what they are, to include in our negotiation. So is there anything else that is missing?
I think with the number that as a parameter that you're asking us to do, we'll cover that. I mean, if I have 55 million no.
I can teach you about drugs, too.
That's less drugs.
Okay.
The way people are on it.
That's me.
Legal drugs. So, where do you want to go next? We've identified negotiations. We have a plan for looking at the different committees' charges. What else, what are we missing?
Reference the I would like there to be nothing. If we sell them the building, they pay us for the building. No escrows, no nothing. None of this, well, you get 5 million here and 10 million here, but if we run out of money, you don't get the other 5 million. I don't know how that exactly works, but if I sell my house, I get all the money. Unless I'm doing a land contract, and then I charge interest. So if we're gonna, I don't know how that works, but we need whatever the dollar value is at once. None of this escrow. Make sure we have a decent lease agreement till, I guess, maybe June of 2028.
I would agree with that also. Why, they just need to give us the money. If we do sell, they just need to give us the whole amount right then.
Well, to my knowledge, to support that idea as well is, I think all the people they purchased houses from, they gave them all their money. And I know our number's a whole lot different than what the houses are, but
At closing,
yes, at closing.
right, and they get 6 months occupancy for free. We're getting 3 years, so we'd have to back up the closing date, but, I mean, a couple little things just for Jim and negotiations, a couple of errors that I saw is that they would do a deposit. They said seller would do a deposit, should be buyer. And I don't know, their due diligence obviously has changed from the time they presented this to closing. But if they don't close, and I don't know if we could even accept it, but I know they give the homeowners a non-refundable deposit when they write an offer on their house. They say, hey, if we don't buy it in this 4 or 6 month period, whatever, you get money for your time and energy and whatever. But definitely upping that to maybe $1 million. They give us $1 million until closing and a non-refundable capacity, if we could accept it. I don't know, there's laws about us taking money if we don't sell the building. I know selling school buildings that are occupied is not an everyday occurrence. But yeah, getting it all at the time of closing should be how it is worded, not part of it now and part later. And then we're actual tenant, because we're not a tenant if we still own it. If they haven't paid us off, right? When we get to closing, they have to pay us off.
So Jamie, are there any restrictions, and you may not know the answer to this right now, but restrictions on the district taking a lump sum of money and how we have to manage that and invest it, or whether we can actually benefit from any interest that's gained?
I thought Jim was answering questions, right? Do you know that one? Like, we got to give him, that was just said at the beginning, so I'm
Yeah,
just
thank you.
confused.
Jamie, you can answer the question.
I'm not aware of any restrictions, and I think that definitely having the entire amount escrowed and then further writing into the deal that we get all interest earned. Where we invest the money, we have some policy and law that we have to, follow, but it just means it's safe from risk. The other item, since I have the microphone, that we talked about at one time is salvage. If they do plan on demolishing the building, adding a note in there to allow us to go in and salvage anything we could use. For example, there's a lot of maintenance and equipment type, a spare door, a spare unit, et cetera.
Add that to your list, Carrie.
I got it.
That and.
Those are a bonus to us.
Well, yeah, but all the schools were built at the same time, basically. Deke, Elms, Morris, they all got the same floor plan.
Clean
So
them out.
that is a very good idea, that if the maintenance wanted to do that. I think, to be fair, if it ever got that far, that we would have to leave some money in escrow in case we didn't pay our utilities or something. That don't you think, right? The seller or the buyer would be like, well, you guys didn't pay X, Y, and Z. You've got all your money, and we walk away from them, we're in a lawsuit. So that would be my only other suggestion, that we leave a small escrow, not to benefit him, but to cover us, if that way we did not.
They're gonna require it.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yeah,
we're still.
yeah. And that way, that would make them feel better. It would make me feel better and be fair, and that way everything's up front. So I think we're good. So now,
Something that I would really like to see is like when you're looking at the Article 2, like the purchase price language, there isn't any language that, so we're safe. There's nothing that says, in order of a catastrophic event, the school isn't liable for this. The pandemic happened. We didn't know that the pandemic was going to happen, right? That could happen again. So I really hope that when we go through and we look at this proposal, we can add verbiage so we're safe.
Yeah.
Because they did try to add their safe hatch section, and that's just not cool.
Yeah, that's
not
what I
happy
want to hire. I think an attorney or a lawyer, whatever, they would cover
Oh, yeah.
us on that. That's why I
Yes.
think that they're important.
For
But
sure.
I don't want.
Tariffs came to mind immediately when Alyssa mentioned catastrophic event, just any unknown that has a impact on the dollars.
I think steel comes from Canada right now, and the tariffs are still high from Canada. Like, they could stop that at any moment. Coming over here.
So I guess we're not selling it. There's no sense in looking at this. Right?
Yeah.
You can at public comment. All right, anything else that we need to discuss? Because this is our chance. I mean, we can have other meetings, and I'm guessing, based on the committees, we will be coming back together relatively soon and because I don't know how firm those deadlines are by the proposed sale.
So, Madam President, could we set up meeting dates for those committees?
We could. Is everybody in a position to make meetings?
We need to know dates.
That's what I just said,
Yeah,
like,
I've
we
set my
could
time
set up dates now,
25 times.
like while we're all here, so we know, we're not waiting until the next meeting to plan the next meeting.
I don't know, our schedules are so messed up, maybe we should have a meeting and then set them as we go. I mean, I spent a lot of time on this, and I know you guys know what I do for a living, and I have 2 other jobs, and I've made myself available, but in fairness to everybody on the board, I have a little bit of flexibility, some of you don't.
So is there a day that works best for you, since you're on all 3 committees? We back 'em
I've
up?
switched my dates for everybody here, and I will continue to accommodate within reason.
Yeah, I still got that for
See,
later timeline.
Yeah, Autumn has a small baby, so she can't leave till 4 o'clock, right?
Right,
4:15.
right.
So her meeting will have to be in the, 4:15, 4:30.
That, I'm on the same committee, that works for me too, that time.
Sweet.
If it works for you.
Chuck?
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna accommodate myself to you, I don't have a life, yeah. I make $1,200 a year to do this, that's a great deal. Hey, can we get a raise, by the way? Little raise.
We're down to 6 cents an hour. I've
I
calculated
think
it.
so. So is next week too soon to have meetings for this?
Good.
I mean, we've got board meetings this week, and then we have another board meeting in 2 weeks, so next week. Is there a day that works for you, Mr. President?
As long as they put it on Google Drive, because this meeting wasn't on Google Drive, and I got all monkeyed up today. So, I didn't even know about it till somebody
Yeah,
called me.
it wasn't on there.
No,
Usually
yeah,
everything's-
I don't know why Sue didn't put it on, maybe she just
Because
forgot.
my
or-
sister-in-law
I know,
died.
she really does a.
She does a good job,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
Usually it's
sis-
always on Google Drive, because I wake up in the morning, it's on Google Drive now.
Her sister-in-law died last.
Oh, I didn't know
She was
that.
the employee
Oh,
that
I didn't
died
even know
last
that.
week, was Sue's sister-in-law.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So. Yeah, it is Jim's fault. First.
And I did send out that information to you in a report of it.
We got it.
I didn't know it was Sue's sister-in-law until today, until she called me to make sure I needed to take notes that was her
Okay.
sister-in-law, so.
Chuck, you're on all 3 committees. I don't know how much time we have to have for each segment. I will make myself available for the committee that I'm on.
I mean, as long as it's within reason, yeah.
And I know Alyssa works during the day, so
How about next Thursday, starting at 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, that's fine.
Any way we could do like a Friday meeting for the first committee?
I'd be down for that too. Next Friday, the 22nd?
Am I in your committee?
Are we doing them all
I'm on the
three
new
the same
one.
day?
Oh, we're doing them all the same day? Oh, yeah.
You're
We're
stuck
doing-
with me.
Oh,
Okay.
Me, you, and Chuck.
I can do next
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah, I can do Friday.
2, 3, 4. Or the Friday after, you say the 22nd?
Well, the 22nd is before our next, not this week's board member, but it's before the next
That's
board
fine. Yeah,
meeting.
22nd's fine.
I'll send an invite.
Starting at 2?
Yeah,
3,
2,
4.
3, and 4, yeah, 1 hour piece.
okay, which one's meeting first?
Autumn has to go at 4 because she doesn't get out of work,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So it'd be one of the other 2, Carrie. You pick.
I'll do either, Chuck, 2 or 3.
Let's do sale first and then buy second. That sounds like a logical,
Do you,
No, the second one is researching the construction research.
yeah.
do you want these first meetings to be open meetings?
They all should be, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we make them committees of the whole?
Yeah,
So
committees of
any
the whole.
board member can
Public's welcome
come
to come.
and get updates.
Okay.
But we do, let's clarify which order, which committees, who's chairing that. So because Sue's not here to,
Well, we'll probably have to have a professional minute taker, because I'm not taking minutes for Can we do that, Jim? Can you have Sue come in and take minutes for all 3 of them, or Cindy or somebody?
Yeah,
Make arrangements.
I can have someone there.
So is this for next Friday?
the 22nd, is what they're proposing.
And that's at 2, 3, and 4.
Correct.
And I'll send you a Google invite on that.
Thank you. 3,
And what time is property?
4.
4.
Yep.
So Chuck, Alyssa, Carrie on the first one. Carrie, I know you're writing, right? At 2. Chuck, Andrea, Ken at 3. Autumn, Chuck, Kim at 4, right?
And you're good.
Wait a minute, you've got, am I on the second committee also?
No, Ken.
Oh, you said Ken.
Did I say Kim?
It sounds like.
I know it.
I know, Ken,
Yeah.
it's gonna get real here, Kim. Yep, Kim, Ken.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so we have 2, 3, and 4 on August 22nd, beginning with the sale committee, the buy committee, and the property committee. We can call it something else later, but for the purpose of
Just
scheduling.
by construction, you're right, that's
Yeah.
fine. Construction, construction.
call it
You know,
building research
potential
meeting.
construction, yeah.
Okay.
So
And Jim, you'll be at all of those meetings?
I'll be at all of them.
Okay.
I'm also going to invite Troon so that they can be representative as we're having discussions.
Oh,
Very
but for the sale part or the buy part?
I'm thinking for all of these, at least to start, at least on the first one.
Get the
Oh,
lawyers.
okay, on the first one, because buying or construction proposals and property, I'm going to give Ken $5. He's going to drive around the districts and see where we can buy some 10 acres somewhere.
No. It's not in our budget, is it, Jamie?
But no, that's fine, on the first meeting, and, well, anything to do with the selling, because we don't have the expertise. I'd rather get a real estate attorney. A real estate, yes, I said that right. Not just a real estate agent, a real estate attorney, so we don't get hooked somehow, if this even comes through all this stuff. I don't,
We can hire Andrea, then she can't vote.
I do not do commercial real estate.
All right, is there anything else? We'll have comments and questions at the end, but before
Well,
we
yeah, I'd like
turn
to
it
hear the
over
public,
to
'cause
public comment?
yeah, because I think they have some ideas that we might want to add for us, so.
All right, so anything else before we move forward?
I have a comment.
Sure.
How much property do we have behind Elm School?
About 9.5, 10 acres.
Is that, maybe that's something we could consider?
It's like across from, it's not behind Elms, it's like from Elms down to Bristol.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's not something we can consider. I guess we could talk about that.
If we go back to K through 5, I mean, if we stay K through 2, this is just my opinion. If we stay K through 2, it might be okay, because then you got those buildings, but if we're going back K through 5, and we have 2 K through, I don't know, that's just my, ADD brain going
All
next to
right,
each other.
thank you. Okay, if we're okay to move on?
Yeah, I'd like to hear what the public has to say. We might have to add some stuff onto our things. They probably got good ideas.
All right, with that. But we would love to hear from you, Travis. Psych. He walks up there so happy. If you'd like to address the board, please step forward.
Yeah, just Nate.
And please state your name
name
and
is-
keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
My name is Michelle Grosier. My head is going in 100 different directions. But I'd like you to ask your attorney the first question to be, how is it that we could push back on this as a school with its community on this project, because if any of you have read about it, it's environmentally dangerous, it's a hazard, and shame on you if you don't ask that attorney exactly how we could proceed and win against this. Thank you, Autumn, for being the only one that is, I don't know, I'm just like, we need to talk about how we can push back. Listen, Kim brought up the legalities of it. The legalities of having a hazardous, we all know what the state wants. We all know that we're looking at semiconductor plants. We know that. There's people who work for the Flint-Genesee County Economic Alliance who are taking trips out of the country to learn about the semiconductor industry. You can take your kids out of that area through the school, but you still have so many kids surrounding that area. So many kids surrounding that area. And as a school board who are parents, I'm going to ask one question and I want an answer, a very truthful, as God is our witness answer. Would you want to live near the school or near the semiconductor plant? We all know it's going to be that. So let's just talk as if it is, because that's what they want. Would you want to move your family and your children within, across the street, across Maple Road, across Linden Road, across Hill Road? Would you be willing to move there and live near a semiconductor plant? If you've read the hazards, if you've read the environmental challenges, just, would you? Yes or no? Yes. I'm asking everyone. I'm asking everyone one at a time. Would you be willing to move your family across the street from a semiconductor plant?
Within 2 miles.
Because God knows there's 6 large subdivisions who will not be allowed to sell off. There are 6 large subdivisions. This school, if we could get us together and just push back, there are plenty of people. And that was a bunch of baloney about that. If anybody recalls seeing that, what was it that went out, Brian? The questionnaire, the survey. Those questions were ridiculous. They just weren't direct enough. And I don't believe for a minute that 60% or whatever crazy number it was are for this. I don't believe it. So would you be willing to move across the street or within, 10 houses of the property? I'm starting with you. Yes or no? Okay. Autumn, you?
No.
No. Chuck, you?
Ma'am, that's the end of your time.
Andrea, you?
I don't do question and answers right now, it's public comment.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Tammy Henry.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear your name. I'm sorry.
Oh, Tammy Henry?
Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted, if you are going to be dealing with the Maple Hill LLC, I think it's inappropriate that 3 of them are on the HOA board in the subdivision on Maple Road, on Maple Avenue. I just think it's inappropriate, and that's who you need to be aware of who you're dealing with when you are doing negotiations with them or having any kind of talks with them. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
My name's Rick Bush. Lived all my life here. I went to Crocker School. That was at Bristol and Linden Road. Then I went to Big O at Bristol and Elms. So I'm familiar with the area. Also, I'm familiar with the new site that they want to put you on. Everybody seen the property? The big woods in the back? Beautiful, aren't they? It's all wetland. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how close you can come to a gas main. I'm talking about a 20-inch gas main that goes across the state. It's in the back of that property. I know that area because I live next door. And also, he has not went through the board yet to get it okayed to build there. He's going for subdivision in a farming community. He wants to change it. We've got a group of people that's going to the board, and I appreciate anybody going there to vote it down, because it'll be like building in the subdivision that is at Moorish and Bristol. The people there are trying to get out of there and can't sell their houses because they're falling apart. They were only built there about 20 years ago. My house was built in 74. It was a Sears out of the catalog. It is still 100% safe. So please act reasonable. I'm for leaving Moorish where it is. I'm tired of closing schools. I went up with Eldon Buell. He was my principal at Mary Crapo. So please stand with us, the community. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Can you state your name, please? Okay.
Jamie's withheld information, withheld documents from us, public documents. Some of those documents here you might have been interested in, because it says there's no deadline. It says we have August or September and more time if needed. In the document that she magically forgot to include. She also has an NDA. I'm sure it just has to do with your house. I know we've talked about it, you've talked about it. But we don't know what's in that NDA. For all we know, she can't say anything ill about the legislature or whatever. It just seems crazy that we're listening to her give us financial information about one of the biggest transactions this school's ever made. Jim, you go to a town hall meeting unprepared. You had that document. It took me one time to glance through it to find that escrow information. And again, the biggest transaction we're going to make maybe in the history of the school, and you come unprepared. And you allow Tyler to sit up there and lie to us without correcting it. And you tell me you didn't know it. You tell me you didn't memorize it. It's bullshit. You know you did. Anybody in their right mind would have come prepared to that meeting. So,
Would you turn your mic on? I think your mic might not be on. Okay.
Now, this doesn't have so much to do with the next item. Carrie, how many complaints have I made to you? You know, any guess? I think it's about 6 or 7. I haven't received a response from one of them. And I've even sent second and third complaints to you to touch base. No response, ever. I get threatened by a board member's husband. No response. Nothing is done. One of your friends makes a complaint about a board member up here. You call a lawyer and drive 2 hours away to get her interrogated. Over what? Because she asked somebody a question. And you've got old May violations. You've got open meeting, public documents that you're not disclosing. But you choose to investigate somebody over somebody's feelings. I mean, there's proof beyond proof, facts, video, all this stuff that I presented to you, and nothing has come of it. You don't have the decency to respond to me, to say you're looking into it, you say nothing. And I think something's got to go. I think you got to go, because I don't think you're doing your job. I think call it dereliction of duty, or call it you just don't give a shit. You're not doing your job.
Anyone else?
I know it looks like a lot of notes, but it's scribbling. So, my name is Debbie Bush, and I live on Hill Road. And I want to speak strictly about tonight's meeting and the school. I've done a little looking at, one of my concerns is, of course I'm not in favor of any of this, but realistically as a tax person, I think we need to look at that endangerment of what's going to be passed off to our residents in our county. And I agree with Kim, $40 million is a drop in the bucket. It's not going to do anything in the next couple years, and this building is projected in the future. So I did a little looking. 70% of our steel comes from Canada and Mexico. All right, and 80% of our soft lumber comes from Canada, and 70% of our hard lumber comes from Canada. They also supply a large amount of our copper. And they supply 1/4, 25% of steel for the entire United States. Recently, Canada just had tariffs of 35% put on their country. That's going to cause a lot of holdup in the availability of material. And looking at the news, most of the companies that I see that are projecting these 25, 35, 45% increases, the only way they're going to have survival is to eventually, in a slow manner, pass that off to their customers. They're not going to buy a product and say, I got 35% more money, I'm going to let you have it at the old price. It's going to come at you with that increase. Also, materials are not going to be as available. There's going to be a holdup of building, increase in transporting of that through gas and everything else. When I looked at the number of the increases, which I got to find my next scribble, I did some looking at what increase percentile-wise was going to be on our individualized material. And it ranged anywhere from like 10% to 20%. If you take like 20% of your projected 55 million, I thought that was a realistic price, but my biggest fear still is having a contingency fund. When you do an addition on your home, you have a contingency fund for that contractor. So $55 million of like a 20% increase without your tariffs is $11 million. Can we pass that off to our membership? Can our people in our county afford these taxes? If you do, let's say, Lord have mercy, the 35% on that building is going to be passed off to us. You're looking at $19 million. We got to be realistic. If you're going to continue to negotiate with this company, you're going to have to go in there and know what your facts are. You're going to have to say, you cannot pass one dime of this. If it's going to be done, then let's do it right. And another thought, on nothing to do with this, but a comment was made about Tyler, or whatever he is. I heard him make a comment. I went to the Monday board meeting, and I don't know now if he was talking to the board or if he was talking to someone in the hall. And they asked him about our Morris Road School. What do you, because they want that property for something. They don't offer $40 million just to be sweet and say, we don't need that property. So they asked him, what are you going to do with that property? He said, well, we're probably just going to use the school for a teaching facility to teach our employees, or as like a daycare facility. And I thought, you got to be kidding. $40 million for a daycare or a little teaching facility? There's something that's not being transparent. And that makes me as uncomfortable as having to pay the money. So I'm just saying, we have to depend on you for your expertise and your decisions and the impact it's going to have on our communities.
Thank you
So,
very much.
Can I say one thing to piggyback on that?
Well, what Debbie was just saying, I think it's interesting they want to offer $40 million for the school. Are they trying to buy, is it 29 acres? They want all 29? They offered Julie $700,000 for her 10 acres. So that's not even close to being comparable. It seems to me that they know they need the school. If they don't get the school, they're probably not going to be able to put the mega site in. I mean, if they want, 10 acres is quite a bit. They only offered Julie $700,000, and they're willing to give us, what, $55 million maybe for the school? It seems like they're desperate to me. There's something, they're desperate for our school, and if we don't sell it, they're not going to be able to put that mega site in. They are worried, and they are desperate.
What's your name again?
Haley Henry. My parents live right there at the cul-de-sac.
Brian Bender, 1982 graduate. Could you confirm for me that on June 25th, Tyler said that he did not need this property? Anybody? He did say that, right?
Yeah.
So the letter of agreement signed on August 19th, 2024. Project will be located in Advanced Manufacturing District, surrounded by Hill, Maple, Linden, and Elms Road, and includes all property within these boundaries. That tells me he stood right where I'm standing and lied to you. Right? So why would you consider doing business somebody that's already proven that has lied to you up right to your face during a public meeting? The 40 million, and I know I'm repeating numbers here, 40 million, you take out the 2.5 million, you take out the other million for property, now we're down to 36.5. Something to consider. Two things I would ask you to add to the sale. Effect on the neighborhoods. What does this do to the community? We are Swartz Creek Community Schools. Andrea, at the town hall meeting, you said, well, that's only 1%. To me, when I was talking, you said that Lindenwood Farms was only 1%. Those people are going to get hurt bad if this goes through. The value of their houses is going way down. Floria Village, there's Coventry, there's mobile homes, there's a lot of places that are going to be affected by this. Please include that in your conversations. Windermere. Also, please include, there was discussion of outs that they wanted. Please make sure there's no outs. If you guys move forward and we get halfway through and they get an out and they can't get the money or additional money, we're in trouble as a district and a community. Now, in terms of role play, Jim, Carrie, Kim, whomever, I show up your house, I'm going to buy your house. I'm going to pay you $40 million, and not only am I going to pay you $40 million, I'm going to tell you where you're moving to. I'm going to design your new house, and not only am I going to design it, I'm going to tell you who your builder is. Who in the neighborhood would do that? Anybody? That's crazy. I just don't understand the process that we're looking at. I do give you lots of credit for starting and moving back to 0.0 here, but it just overall does not make sense from my perspective. One last thing, 50 years ago, and I'm old, 50 years ago, there was an airport expansion that was coming through. My parents bought property out in Linden because we were going to be kicked out of Floria Village. My mom still lives there. These projects, Autumn, you hit it right on the head. Why would we do anything until there is a firm project in place? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, everyone. I'll keep it short. Brianne Wilson. I'm going to take off my teacher hat and put on my community member hat. I share concerns with folks about the idea of manufacturing in our area. I don't even spray weed killer on my lawn, which my neighbor really would wish as I did. However, I am very optimistic with the decisions you guys have made tonight with these formations of these committees and this kind of plan of attack to see, is this right for our district? That makes me feel really excited. The idea, you know, if this works, the idea of having a new school without a tax burden on our residents that almost never happens, right? That's like finding a unicorn. And our community members bring up really good points about, are the people that are proposing this telling the truth? Are they showing all the cards? I appreciate Alyssa's work a lot in talking about what does it actually cost to build a school and do these numbers add up? So given that you've formed these committees and have these meetings planned, I'm really optimistic that if this is the right move for our district, then we'll make it. And if it's not the right move, we'll discover that it's not and act accordingly. So I just appreciate everyone's diligence in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianne. Anyone else?
Jenny Wilgast, sorry, I went last because I knew it would take me a minute to get up to the podium and I couldn't outrun anybody up here. Okay, so yeah, like everybody else said, I'm very glad to see the committees, 3 committees, yay. Good, divide up the work. So that's my first comment. My second comment is I haven't heard, you guys need to say something back to Tyler. Is there a timeline, like is he expecting a response? So I think one of the first things you need to do is figure out what your response is to Tyler. Hey, we need 90 days to work this out. Hey, we need this. Because, I mean, it's great that you guys are working at this, but he's sitting there going, okay, I gave them a deadline. Are they going to meet this deadline? Are they not going to meet this deadline? So I think that you guys should probably, if possible, decide very shortly what you need from him. Do you need 90 days? How long do you need? And give him, just so you can level set so that everybody's, working collaboratively and he knows what to expect as well. So I would like to, as a community member, I'd kind of like to hear that too. Okay, how long are you guys planning on, working on this before you respond back to him and things like that. So that's another comment I had. Going back to, I know Brian referenced a document that was kind of released that was basically the letter of understanding or whatever with SanDisk, which was one of the potential buyers of the mega site. The promises that they made to that particular buyer were that for 50 years, there was an abatement on taxes, school assessment, bonds, anything. They owe nothing to the community. So anybody who was a property owner in there, all those houses or whatever, you no longer have any of that money. No bonds from those properties, no normal tax revenue. The state doesn't get tax revenue, so the money that we get from the state, that would normally be collected from all those property owners, is gone. And it's gone now. And that's something that you need to consider as well as you're budgeting. All that money's gone. Those houses are gone. You are not collecting that revenue anymore. As other people, if they do build a site there, as more people leave the area, that's more revenue that you're losing. So in your consideration, I don't know which committee it would fall in, you need to look at how many students you have now, how many students you'd be likely to lose through this process if all those neighborhoods kind of vacate, and what impact that's going to have on your revenue, because you might not be able to afford, you might not need, if you don't have enough students, another school, and you might not be able to afford to keep the lights on in this new building, because I really think that you're going to have a huge revenue hit by this project. So that's just something else. Again, I don't know which committee it falls in, but it's something else that you need to consider as well. So those are my comments, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny.
Hi, my name's Julie Aslan, and the thing I was concerned about, what if they start a school and all of a sudden you run out of funds and there's still more expenses to incur, and like this other lady said, this will ruin our neighborhood, and don't let Tyler walk all over you, because he will say what he thinks you want to hear. That's what he's been doing, and I go to the township meetings every 2 weeks, and he'll get up there and talk, and as soon as he's done talking, he leaves. He will not even give us the chance to ask him any questions, what's going on. And he just up there bragging, oh, we got all this land and everything, and he's not even thinking about us, how we feel about it, because I live right in that area, and I think it's just terrible, and he just doesn't seem to care. And I'm concerned, about the school and everything too, because he's making this offer and he acts like he's in a hurry to get it. And no research has really been done. I'm sure he hasn't done research. How much would it be worth to build a new school? Because I think he's selling everybody short. And I'm just not happy with him whatsoever. He doesn't want to tell us anything. I think, he sugarcoats everything. Instead of telling us the truth, he thinks we ought to be thrilled, to encounter all this stuff. And I am not happy about it at all. I've lived on my property for a long time, and I love it there. I don't want to see somebody come in out of the area and put things where they want. And none of these people that want this live in our area, people in Lansing and, wherever, the people in the government, they don't live here. I don't even think they know what's going on. And I just wish that, they would do some research, and realize how it's affecting the rest of us. And like I say with you guys, and talking about the tax base, that land, and when they tear those houses out, that taxable value was on vacant land, not houses. And I don't know how taxes will be recouped when they give all that money to this, they talk about these companies giving them all this tax incentive. Where do they think the tax dollars are going to come from? And how is the school, going to be supported when there's no money? And they're scooting all these people out, all our residents. And I guess, what do they think? They're going to bring a bunch of other people in? And even if they worked over there, we don't know if they're going to live there. They come from another area, and they won't be contributing to the tax base as well. So I just think everything needs to be considered, with the thing with the school and everything. Make sure a lot of research is done, and don't just hire one builder, talk to a lot of different builders. Get some other ideas. And, really do your research. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Hi, my name's David Wright. I worked for the city for 55 years, so I know the area here. Yeah, I know there's no sewer out there, and you're talking about running a sewer, and it's going to be very expensive, but the problem is when you get into Swartz Creek, the sewer starts where the stained glass place is. That sewer is only like about 6 foot deep right there. I know you got to have fall, or you're going to have to put lift stations in to pump that far. And it's going to cost some money. I mean, are they going to pay for that, or is that included in it? You're looking at a few $1,000,000. That's my question.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I'm not seeing anyone else. Well, thank you, everyone. Okay.
I do have one thing. You had mentioned Tyler was talking about, he said they weren't going to tear the school down, they were going to use it for education or a daycare center?
We went to the Mundy Township.
At Mundy Township.
And that was the first time we had been, but, and really that is my first kind of close-up observation of Mr. Tyler. I don't know what his name is, so I'll just call him that. But, and I'm almost certain, but I hate for you to quote that he made that comment. He did. When he was at the podium. He said, okay, he did at the podium, and they said, someone asked him, well, what are you going to do with the school? And he goes, well, we probably might not tear it down. We will use it for training of employees, right? Or for daycare, which was so off the wall to me.
Yeah, and I mean, we're trying to take children out of there, and he's saying they're going to put a daycare center in there?
And it was just an off-the-wall comment he made, not realizing that probably out of everything he said and promised, that was the one thing that stuck with me. Because in my mind, that he needs that school. And I think y'all hit pretty close tonight when the comment was made about the factory pulling out. I think that school is a risk in its location to any factory that comes in there. And even though Sandus said it was due to the economy, they are very clever at revealing what and what isn't released. But I think that school, you might not realize how much power you have.
A lot of power.
That school is your key.
Enough power to save our community.
And nobody, especially like we've got Berlin and Farrell.
All the power. Save Swartz Creek.
Okay. You have something, Kim?
Yeah, this is one of the things I know a lot of people thought that was, and as myself included, I thought it was very presumptuous of him to come in here and have the school all designed and tell us how we were going to spend our money and this is what you're going to get for it. Now, I mean, I haven't made up my mind yet, but I don't know, the more I hear, the more I feel like that school is what's preventing them from coming in there. I just wish that I could be positive of that.
Well, you're dealing
The state doesn't want you to know that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, this,
Carrie doesn't like this. She wants to sell the school.
no, I want to follow our procedures of public comment. If someone,
Thanks, Carrie.
that's enough from you. It really
Okay,
is.
these people are talking for an hour. I said one
It's
thing,
enough.
and I get attacked. That's.
If you'd like to come up for public comment, you can come back up here. I just want to make sure that we're following the process that we've established,
And I think
okay?
that's important. I
Thank
think
you.
that is something
And
we all need
I'll
to
keep it to the
recognize.
3 minutes or less.
Okay. But my concern is Tyler is a good representative of his company. And in watching him interact with the people of the board and of the, back there, he knows his job. All I can think is he's representing a company, he's probably getting a bonus, he knows what to answer and what not, and what to skirt. But the school has turned into something major, not with so much your community, but with the development of this company. And I think that SanDisk, besides the economy, pulled out because of the school, because they have really upped their game a little bit. I think whether you go along with it or not, you've got more power in your hand than you realize. You can decide what's going to work for the community. You can decide on your costs, but I don't even think 55 million. Make them pay you 2.5 times what it's worth. That's what I hear they're offering on houses. So let's go for $100 million of 2.5 times what they've offered. You know? Yeah. So, you know, if they're going to push it, go back for it. Don't let them fly you around like that. You got the ability to make the best decisions for you.
You guys were all sitting here. We just made a decision. We stopped the sale and we're gonna reboot
And I love
everything.
that.
So everybody should be,
But
you know,
don't-
there was a lot done here.
I'm
I think
proud
this
of what
board
you've
cares a
done
lot about the
tonight.
community because we did not. And it wasn't Tyler who did all the drawings. Our former superintendent asked for all that.
Okay.
So part of this is, you guys don't know all the pieces. So this board right now is doing its due diligence by stopping it.
Good.
We're not taking the sale. You saw the 3 committees that we did, because we're gonna do our due diligence before we even consider everything. And I think that you need to give some of these board members here some credit, because some wanted to sell it, now they're backing off, and they're thinking about the community and what's going on, and that's why we're taking all this information. But I think you kind of know what's going on. We just stopped it with 3 hardcore committees. How are we gonna deal with this? We're gonna solve it logically, and we are taking your input, and, but that's why I wanted to see Carrie to defend some of the board members. Well, go ahead, go ahead.
So this is my second board meeting.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have kids in college, you can tell that or in high school by my hair. But last month was my first, and it was very emotional, and it was also very eye-opening. So I made that decision. We need to be more involved as members of our town. And tonight, I thought, what a world of difference. I just felt like people were listening to people. There were some decisions made that a lot of us are happy about. And, you know, if you need my phone number to call me for any advice, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. All right. Now we'll move on to comments and questions from the board.
Okay, I just have a quick question.
Sure.
And I'm sorry if we've asked this question months ago, but in eminent domain, can the government claim that land?
My understanding is that the government cannot eminent domain a government facility.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Tracy? Yeah, I've got some comments here, yeah.
Go ahead, Chuck.
So, Michelle, thank you for your comments. I think we're all on the same page. It does affect a lot of the subdivisions there. I grew up in Swartz Creek. I've lived here for 50 years, and I've lived 14 years in Clayton Township, just on the other side of our dividing line, Calkins Road, because I went to Flushing. But good comments, and I will take everything in consideration you said. Tammy, same for you. You have great comments. Mr. Bush and Mrs. Bush, thank you for your comments. I've talked to you guys several times here and there. Your information is always very good, Josh, thank you for your comments. I'm going down the list because I wrote down where everybody said. Brian, thank you for your comments. You bring a lot of information to it because you've been involved in the mega site, and you brought up some good things about the effect on neighborhoods, which Michelle did. So I don't think there's any intent here by any board member. I don't get along with some of my board members, some of them I do, but we try to agree to not to, disagree to agree, or however the saying goes. But I don't think it's any board member's intent to, what you laughing down there for? I'm being serious.
I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you.
No, it's
I'm just
getting
messing with you.
older.
I can't hear good, so I got that part though, because it was Ken. But I don't think anybody on this board, on a serious note, is here to hurt anybody from the public. And God forbid, they do force us to sell it. That's why the thought process, was and most of you said that, get the research on it so we know what we're doing. So if, God forbid, we have to make a deal, not saying I want to make a deal, I'm telling you that right now, but if we're forced to it, why would I take a crappy deal for you guys? And that's a double whammy for you, right? I mean, it's a double whammy. Let's say, if nobody wants to take the deal, or at least I know several people have told me that, and I'm kind of leaning that way, because I don't like being lied to by some people that have come in already and had things sprung on me. But I don't think that we're going to do anything that is going to ultimately harm this community or with the intent of it. And then, hold on. Brina, I agree with everything you said. Jenny, you had good points too. Julie, you brought up a thing about the tax dollars. I think Brian and Julie brought up about the tax abatement, and I'm not sure if that's true or not. Does anybody on the board know that?
It's something we should look into. I thought they couldn't take away, I thought they
Okay,
couldn't.
well, I would appreciate if somebody could stay and show me that, because that makes a huge effect on the school. I mean, that's the whole idea of bringing in businesses to do what? For the kids. So that's a big thing. And David, I've known David for many moons. He was basically ran the DPW when I lived on Miller Road. He always took care of business, and that's what I brought up as Gaines, official, that I know where that storm sewers and the sanitary sewer stop right at the railroad tracks, basically. And they're undersized. They have the shredders to run all the sanitation down. So you guys all brought up good points, and some of them I'm added to my list. I've got a lot of the points down, and at least for me, from the board, I will try not to let any of you down. Thank you for coming. You spent a lot of time with us. Thank you. Go ahead.
And
Yes. Well, it's up to Carrie. Carrie?
Okay.
How
I had
long?
a question about the assessor. I talked to the Mundy Township assessor, and she was saying that taxes, are based, well, if you tear the house out, you can't tax on that house anymore. It's vacant land. And what you need to do is you can talk to the city assessor and talk to them and find out, what they say, and then you can also talk to Mundy Township.
It's in Monday Township, and they'll assess
Yes.
the building, but if they gave an abatement, which we don't know about that,
that's
then that would
for
affect us.
the next buildings. And I
Yes.
thought they couldn't take away school dollars, but you're correct.
But if you do
We
it
are,
fake,
in 2026, we will see a decrease in the money we get as a school district, because obviously, they cannot
Yes, you can't tax on
Well, no,
houses.
yeah,
Once
a couple hundred houses have been,
Right.
bulldozed down.
Oh, yeah.
Not a couple hundred, but,
Well,
yeah.
whatever.
30, 40, but that we will lose those tax dollars. I mean,
Right.
they're gone already. The
And
house is gone, the tax dollars are gone.
Right, so how will the school get the tax
I mean,
dollars if it's not there?
It's vacant land. Yeah,
Yeah.
we lose those tax dollars.
That's
You're
what I'm
absolutely
thinking
right.
too, so I don't know how.
There'll
we'll
still
be
be
able to keep
taxes
up.
on the vacant land, but not on the actual
No,
structure.
not as much.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Right, so we lose a ton of tax dollars with this project already.
Yeah, that's
So
what-
if they don't, and whoever brought that up, great, because I thought they couldn't take away the school dollars, but that's something in our committees we'll have to figure out.
Okay.
Is if they get a tax break on school taxes. But yeah, we are for sure losing that money in those
Okay,
houses
that's,
that are down.
so I mentioned about do a lot of research before you go into this thing too.
Thank
So
you,
thank
Julie,
you.
very much. All right, any
So-
other board comments,
Yes.
questions?
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one more comment. I'd just like to answer Michelle's question. No, I would not want to live, I live close enough as it is. No, I would not want to live there, nor, and this is kind of a concern, nor would I buy a house in that area if I thought that was coming. So I'm afraid that we're going to lose a lot of students Because I don't think anyone's gonna come into this district knowing that thing is, you know, anywhere close to their house.
So
So,
you might be able to afford a school for 40,000 because you might as well cut it right in half.
I wish at this point that none of us had ever heard of this mega site, but now we have to deal with it, so
Amen.
somehow.
Thanks, Kim. Ken, did you have something?
A little thought on we're living by something. I grew up, you can Google it, maybe it'll make more sense to you. 1325 Bell Avenue. It's about 1/8 of a mile from Buick Complex and about 500 feet from I-475. I watch houses get torn down, the same thing that you folks are experiencing now. My grandmother lived there. She was born in that bedroom she slept in since 1926, when the freeway went through in 75. Totally understand where you're coming from. I think the one thing that I'm trying to be, since I got appointed to the board, is to pump the brakes on this. I think we did this tonight. I think we're gonna maybe make a better decision or a more informed decision. And so I do understand what some of you are talking about and what you're living by. Like I say, Google 1325 Bell Avenue, Belle, and you'll see just how close I was to that. But I appreciate the board tonight for being open-minded. Andre and Chuck and I spoke a little bit about this. I don't know if this is a right answer, but we're at least doing something different. I think we're doing it a little bit better or right. And let us see where it goes. Thank you.
One quick thing on that, Ken. All the houses that are still standing in that area are all brick. The other houses are all what? That's why I'm big on the brick for schools, because if you get the right foundation and the right water, brick lasts forever. And if you drive down those old neighborhoods, what houses are still standing if they haven't been burned down?
Well, if you go back and you look, the ones that are standing, they destroyed them, but I went to Central, Lowell, and Homedale. Homedale finally got torn down.
Yeah.
But
those brick buildings
the brick
lasted
buildings are
forever.
still standing.
So, I mean, I've actually said from day one, I'm not in love with this project. Tyler even told me he was gonna try to tell me how much I would love AMDs after all of this, but at the end of the day, we have to make a business decision, not an emotional decision. And that's sometimes very hard to do. It's not easy on any of us to sit here and make a decision that is gonna impact the community, impact our students, but we have to make a business decision, whether we like it or not. I know, but can I speak? You guys all had your chance to speak. So, and I live just as close as Kim does. We're neighbors. So we are all going to feel that. But at the end of the day, we have a business decision we have to make that's been put in front of us that we did not collaborate that. And, you know, no offense to Rod, not here, but he obviously spent time. This isn't something they did overnight to bring to us in a presentation. So Rod had been talking with them for quite some time. So I know we got presented with it a while back, but I think he's been working on this for a while. And someone made a comment that I said Lindenwood Farms was 1%. The only thing I've ever said that was 1% is our school building at Morris. It's on 9.26 acres. That is less than 1% of the entire 2-mile rectangle. You know, maybe the school could stop it. I've been told that it can't. It was not. I've been following this project since the day I first seen it in the news. We were not on the original grid, that little map with the niches in it. We weren't in there. So we weren't on the table at first. Now we are. Now they want the whole rectangle. Maybe they can build around us, maybe they can't. But we weren't part of that originally. And we sit on less than 1% of the whole 1,280 acres that is there. We sit on 9.26. So if I said anything about 1%, it's where our school sits.
If I misunderstood you, I apologize.
Just clarifying that. So that is all that I have. Thank you. And I appreciate everyone coming in tonight to do this because it was important for us to have this meeting just to talk about this since we've taken 2 hours. I would not have voted well on a regular meeting.
This actually went well for all this stuff, don't you think? Yeah, okay.
My comment would just be, I see that now we have 3 committees that are all you know, to support the sale, basically, finding new property. I like what Michelle said. Why don't we have anybody looking into how can we prevent it? How does this affect these families? Looking into the kids who are currently enrolled in Moorish, you know, present and future. Things like that, those kind of numbers that would, you know, open up the perspective to the other side of this. Not just, this is our option and now we're gonna look into how we can make it work for us versus how do we make it work for our students and families and community.
You're absolutely right. The one thing we didn't talk, I mean, I think I briefly hit on it when we first got here, is we don't have to build a new building. I mean, we could.
We don't have
choose
to sell this school is the point I was
Right,
making, so.
But we don't even have to build a new building either. Because like Chuck said, if school choice isn't an option, do we need?
Do we need to sell?
Right. Well,
That's where I'm
nobody's saying, I think that's why we have to have way more research, and you know I'm not.
Yeah.
We'll take care.
Right.
There's not gonna be no.
No, I know, I'm just.
But the way it was done is, there's no way we can accept what was done, and I think that's what because I felt, and I think we all felt.
No,
it was
I'm
being
not
rushed,
against
yeah.
it. I'm all for, you know.
I don't say we have to sell it
finding
either. Tell them to go
based on
somewhere
facts,
else.
But, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't want trains driving by, because I live by the train track right here in Gaines, so I don't know what's gonna be being hauled down there. Of course, there's probably already toxic chemicals there.
I just feel like we're always, you know, it's for the kids, it's for the kids. Well, we're talking about moving all these families if this thing takes off and for the kids.
Well, maybe
right?
Tyler heard this and heard our budget, and he's just gonna go away and, you know, play with the sand bucket somewhere else. I mean, right? I don't know. I'm sure he has some, you know, somebody's a spy here probably for him, but not I. Listen, we're all up front. It is what it is. We're gonna do our due diligence. We're not gonna mess anybody up, I don't think.
So I just wanted to share, you know, we're in a very unique position, and my alma mater where I graduated was Lapeer. And back in the 70s, an industrial plant came to Lapeer East when the East was, well, it's now called Lapeer Community Schools, but in my day, it was Lapeer East. And the industrial company had asked, hey, let's move your school. Well, Lapeer didn't move, and the industrial site has been fantastic neighbors. They've actually donated a lot back to the school. Yeah, they can look at it as a silver lining, but I just wanted to share that. So we're not the only ones that this has happened to. There is another county over there.
Great point.
Thanks, Alyssa. All right, with that, I want to thank everybody on the board for coming together tonight. I know it was relatively short notice, but it was very well worth it. I know when Jim called to ask me about it, I said, absolutely, we haven't really had a chance to talk as a board. We get talked to a lot, but we haven't really been able to open up and have a conversation. So thank you to all of you for being here tonight. I appreciate it very much. And I look forward to the meetings that we have scheduled. Just as a reminder, Friday, August 22nd, we'll be meeting at 2, 3, and 4. You're welcome to stay for all 3 or 1 or 2. And we'll make these efficient meetings, and I look forward to the conversations.
And the meetings will probably be out here in case we have public and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If there are meetings of the whole,
Yep.
people are willing to attend. I might suggest, just for the sake of being able to have a meeting, that we have it in the middle of the room with a table and chairs around it, because then we can see each other as we're talking. It's easier than doing this through the whole meeting. And then we could have chairs in the room if people want to attend, as we do during our committee meetings. So with that, I would entertain.
Just one thing.
Sure.
I just thought about it. Sorry, Travis. Maybe we should have those tape recorded for full transparency to the public, so if they can't make it in their busy schedule, they can see what was discussed, what is legally able to. I mean, I know they can on some of the purchase if it ever gets that far, but that way we can keep it completely transparent, so the public's working all the time, and I think that we owe it to them just so they could see it if they can't make it here. And that's how the misinformation was going around and the rumors, so that way they can actually see the meeting and what was discussed. and how everybody reacted, please. If it's possible. I don't know, we're putting a lot on Travis and YouTube. I think that would be best, but what's the board?
Travis, is that something that is doable?
I agree.
I don't know where the camera angles are, or maybe we place the tables in relationship to.
So we could do the table right where the podium's at, you think, Travis?
Okay.
The little square table, and then just maybe one angle of the camera so people could at least hear what's going on, seeing how it's so near and dear to their heart. I think that's very important.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was my.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Support.
Support, comments or questions? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?